The sun slowly sank over the small-town railway station. It was the year 1956, and the world had begun to rebuild itself after the horrors of war. Life had resumed its familiar rhythm. Shops reopened, families reunited, streets filled with quiet conversations. But for Karl Bauer, a former soldier turned postal clerk, the war had never truly ended. Some scars ran deeper than the surface. Some stories refused to be forgotten. Karl knew the name well. Margarete had lived alone for years, just beyond the edge of town. She often spoke of her husband, Johann, a man lost to war. No one knew if he had fallen or simply disappeared. Karl had heard the stories, nodded politely, never asked questions. But now a telegram had arrived. The sender, Johann Schneider, New York, USA. The weight of 10 years pressed into his chest. His breath hitched slightly, fingers tightening around the paper. The past doesn't knock. It sends messages, faded paper, forgotten words. Karl Bauer knew that. He had seen telegrams that changed lives, messages that shattered hopes. But today was different. New York, Johann Schneider. A name from another time, another world. Karl had thought this story was buried long ago. But ghosts write telegrams, and today one had found him. There were no coincidences. Not in this city. Not in his life. He takes one final drag before standing up. Oh, the night is cold, and Margarete, she deserves answers. The past had never given him a choice. Today was no different. But the telegram was not just a shadow. It was a call.
You're late, Karl.
I had no other choice. I had to come. This arrived today. I thought you should see it.
What will you do?
I don't know.
The train carried her forward, but her thoughts pulled her back to a life she had spent waiting. Waiting for news, waiting for certainty, waiting for Johann. And yet, as the telegram rested beside her, forgotten but never truly absent, another name filled her mind. Karl. Hamburg Harbor. Thick fog drifts over the dark waters as towering cranes silently watch over the cargo ships. Margarete stands at the quay, her coat swaying slightly in the cold wind. She takes a deep breath. The salty scent of the sea, the distant calls of dockworkers, the deep horn of a departing steamship. With determined steps, she approaches the gangway of the massive ocean liner that will carry her away. A journey into an unknown world with an uncertain fate. Her silhouette fades into the shadow of the ship's hull as the city behind her sinks into darkness. The gangway retracts, the siren blares. Slowly, the ship pulls away from the dock, taking Margarete with it. New York, a city that breathes, moves, exists in constant motion. Margarete stands amidst the rush of strangers, each carrying stories she'll never know. The air is thick, filled with exhaust, opportunity, the distant scent of roasted chestnuts from a street vendor. The hum of the city is relentless, an echo of a world she has yet to understand. But she is here. Brooklyn, a quiet street, caught between familiarity and distance. Margarete stands before the entrance, the telegram folded tightly in her trembling hand. Her gaze lingers on the worn doorframe, tracing the chipped paint, the silent threshold that separates past from present. She exhales, steadying herself. There is no turning back now. The door swings open, the creaking hinges breaking the heavy silence. Johann stands in the dim doorway. Time has carved itself into his face. Lines of years gone by, of memories unspoken. His eyes search Margarete's, uncertainty flickering beneath the weight of familiarity. She exhales, gripping the telegram as if it could anchor her in this moment. Neither of them speaks. The world outside hums, cars passing, voices drifting. But here, at this threshold, only history lingers. A pause. A breath. Then, Johann moves aside, an unspoken invitation. Margarete hesitates, and then, slowly, she steps inside.
I have imagined so many times what it would be like to see you again. How you would walk through the door, look at me, and everything would be as it was before. But it was never like that. You never came back.
It was complicated, Margarete. The world was no longer the same.
Complicated? No. You had a choice. You could have come. Why didn't you?
I thought it was the best thing for you.
The best thing for me? Years of waiting? Nights full of questions? That was the best for me?
There were things you couldn't know, things I couldn't change. I couldn't come back, Margarete. Not as the same man.
What did you do, Johann?
New York, 5 days later. The city moves to its rhythm, honking cars, hurried footsteps, the muffled hum of conversations carried away by the wind. Yet between it all, there are moments when the past forces its way into the present. Johann and Margarete walk side by side, their steps slow, their thoughts racing. 5 days of unspoken words. 5 days where everything inevitably led to this moment. Central Park stretches before them, golden autumn light dancing through the branches. Then Johann suddenly stops. A man approaches, and with him, the shadow of a long-lost past. Margarete senses it. This meeting is no coincidence. The air thickens between them, filled with memories and questions that refuse to wait. What happened back then? And, more importantly, what happens now?
Johann, who is this man?
I have finally found you.
You have searched for a long time.
Longer than you deserved.
What do you want from him?
He knows exactly.
It was a choice back then, one that no one should have had to make.
But you did.
Margarete. Since our youth, she was my world. Her smile, her voice, all of it belonged to me in my thoughts. But Johann took her from me. He took her with a single gesture, with his false charm, and I let it happen. Then came the war. Suddenly, we were no longer rivals but brothers in uniform, Johann, Arthur, and I. We learned not to ask, not to feel, but I never could. He listened. He waited. He betrayed us. And now, he is here again. Arthur told her. The truth Karl could never bring himself to say. Margarete looks at Johann, her gaze piercing, searching for an answer. But there is nothing. No denial, no defense, just silence. Sometimes, silence is the heaviest confession. The train comes to a halt. Steam dissipates into the cold evening air. Footsteps echo on the platform, hurried movements. Yet for Margarete, there is only one direction. Her eyes search, and then she sees him. Karl is waiting. No words, no doubts. Only the certainty that this journey has brought her back to where she truly belongs. She runs. A moment of hesitation, then they fall into each other's arms. Time, distance, everything dissolves. Karl closes his eyes, holding her tightly, as if he could never let go again. A deep breath, relief, love, the future. Home is not just a place, it is a person. And today, at last, they have arrived.